Eazr, Health Now, Education Now, Pay Later. I'm your host for today, Kunnjal, and we are joined by an extraordinary guest, Mr. Anil Panchal. From joining a running club in 2015 as a newbie to becoming a certified marathon trainer is nothing short of inspiration. Tune in to hear Anil's secret to running success and also tips for maintaining a healthy lifestyle.
So, sir, we've been reading about you a lot, and so we wanted to know. I mean, like you've started in the running industry at a very later stage of your life.
Yeah.
So, how were you introduced to the sport, and how were you inclined towards running? We would really like to know about this.
Yes, Kunjal. In 2015, as you rightly said, I started very late. My age was around that time was 59.
Okay.
Okay. Let me go back to before 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go for my regular walk.
Okay.
Almost like around 25 years, I used to do my regular walking and all that. Just because I know my family history.
Okay.
My dad, my uncle, they all had a diabetes and all that. So I was very scared. So I should not have. So that's why I was walking. But unfortunately, what happened in Jan 2015, in spite of my fitness and all that, in fact, everyone was surprised that I was having a blockages.
Okay.
So I just gone for my regular stress checkup and all that. So I was diagnosed as a blockage, and I had to undergo an angioplasty with 3 stents.
Okay.
So that is when I realized that walking, for me at least, the walking was not enough. I need to do something more.
Okay.
And that's how I thought about starting running on a
Okay.
slow and gradually.
Okay, so which was the first? I mean, like, so running, when people are walking, they get into a transition of jogging or, a regular, but then participating in marathons and getting that into culture, how were you, aware about that culture being there around you?
Right. What I did was I joined a running club,
Okay,
which was very close to where I stay,
okay.
and I had morning time.
Mm-hmm.
So by joining a running club, what helped me was that I had a certified coach.
Right,
So under the certified coach, there's a proper guidance.
right.
You need to start running. Of course, as you rightly said, you start with jogging first,
Mm-hmm.
like taking a baby steps in running.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how I got enrolled in the month of April in
Okay.
2015,
Okay,
and I started the journey of.
okay.
It is like from sofa to 5K
5K,
initially.
right. So, which was the first marathon which you participated, and how did you plan and train yourself accordingly?
Two things. One, the same year in 2015,
Mm-hmm.
September, in the month of September, I had registered for Satara Hill Marathon.
Okay.
Not that I was going to run that half a marathon there. I
Okay.
just registered for 7K,
Okay.
just to do my photography there.
Acha, okay.
I walked, but
Okay.
then when I saw so many people running and even elderly people, I could see them running on an incline terrain and all that. That
Mhm.
really inspired me. And of course, I was training, as I said earlier, that April I started my journey towards running.
Mhm.
And I thought even I would. Then after September, I continued for 2-3 months.
Okay.
And my first marathon was in the month of November,
Okay.
the same year.
Okay.
I did my half marathon in Vasai Virar.
Okay. Directly a half marathon.
Directly
after
and a half
7
marathon.
kilometers. Okay. So you never felt a need of, having small transition like from 7 to 10 to
Yes.
then, training for a couple of months and then going for a half marathon?
No, the process remains more or less the same.
Okay.
You need to do 5K, you need to do 7K, 10K, go by 15K. But that was more on the practice. I did not do a marathon for that.
Oh, right.
So
right.
as long as you practice
Right.
and you're confident, and just before the November marathon, first half marathon, my family was very much worried.
Okay.
So I thought I'm going to walk.
Right.
If I
right.
can't do, I'll take the taxi and I'll come back home.
Right.
That was
right.
assurance which I gave, because knowing my heart condition, they were a little scared,
Worried
also.
Yeah.
And my coach also said, Anil bhai, you have to go very, very slow. I know you have registered. I am confident, but you have to go very slow. But then somehow I managed at around 2 hours and 43 minutes.
Okay,
which
the
was
half marathon?
the half marathon. Then I never looked back.
Great. So how do you feel that running club helped you in gaining that fitness level and also, the recovery after the angioplast which you've gone through? So how beneficial was that for you?
I would not say it is a recovery of angioplasty because that's the medication
Right, that
is
plays a role.
you have to continue. Even today, I'm taking the medicines
Okay.
for that. But then, yes, you need to take up precautions.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot overstress. You cannot overtrain yourself,
Right.
and that comes with the coaches. The coach will help you how to go and all that.
Right, right.
So you have to go very slow.
But that helped you in your fitness level?
Absolutely.
Okay, so how would you like to rate yourself when you participated in your first 7 kilometer race, which was Sadra, and then going for a half marathon? How easy was that for you, or how difficult, or
Yeah, I would say out of 10, if I have to rate, then it will be 8. It was a bit difficult initially, first. But then mentally, I was very strong
Right,
that I need to do something more to keep myself fit.
fit. Fitness is at the end of the day very
Absolutely.
crucial for everyone. So when you had your first half marathon, what were your future goals of, when it comes to running? What were your next, because there's always a next, and when
Always the
you
next.
cover a half marathon, the next is a full marathon.
Yeah.
So how did you evolve over the period gradually?
Right. See, the half marathon I've done.
Mhm.
After that, my goal was to remain fit. That was
Right.
the priority. And I kept on running for 10K. I then participated a lot of events, smaller events like 5K and 10Ks also.
Okay.
And I got a lot of I was in the podium also in my age category.
Right, right.
So I was very happy because okay, I'm remaining fit. But whenever there was an opportunity, I tried to do half marathon there.
Okay.
At least in the first 2-3 years, I never thought of going for full marathon because it doesn't come overnight. It
Right.
requires a lot of training. There is a process behind it. So initially, I have never thought I'll be able to do the full marathon.
Right. What was your family's reaction when they got to know that you finally completed your half marathon in 2 hours 43 minutes? Oh,
The
well,
first call I gave it to my wife that I've completed, and she was like, both of us were almost like in tears. I'll believe you. So emotionally, we were so much that I managed it and
Yeah.
how I managed it. In fact, there were a lot of people who gave me a negative report also.
Okay.
That no, you don't do this. No, you are overdoing this. But then I said, no, I am happy. I know my health. I know how I did it. And I think I can manage at this level. I don't want to overtrain myself. I was not looking at the speed or I was not looking at the timings.
Right.
What I was looking was
To complete.
to complete it strong without any injuries.
So, you completed without injury. How, because every marathon or every runner requires a lot and lot of motivation and self-confidence when they are going and representing themselves or participating. How did you get your motivation, to complete that first half marathon directly after that 7 kilometer of race which you did just for photography? So how would you like to summarize on that?
Since I was training under the coach and it's a group of people who were running. So apart from me, there were many others who were already doing a half marathon.
Right.
So they were also helping me, and we used to run together. So I was in the circle of that like-minded people.
True.
That okay, fitness is a priority, and how you can improve your endurance over a period. So there is a process like sometimes you have to do speed workout, sometimes you have to do slow tempo run, and so all that process actually helped me, and I was doing it very seriously, and that gave me a confidence to keep on moving.
Right. And what was your coach's reaction when you completed the race?
I was overwhelmed. I was so happy. We had to cut the cake to celebrate it.
True. So finally, you took a taxi with a medal when you came back home.
Absolutely.
Superb. Okay, so as we've learned, you are an ACSM certified coach as well. So tell us something about your transition of participating in 2015 to directly being a certified coach in 2016. So how did that transition happen?
Yes, even after started my journey, running journey, my regular checkup was always there with my cardiologist. So initially, he said, "Don't do too much. You have to walk. You cannot run so fast." But then, over a period of 1 year, then he was also saying that you have to take care of yourself.
Right.
You should know. Now, what helped me is like I wanted to know more about myself
Okay.
with the heart condition.
Hmm.
So that is when I registered for ACSM,
Okay.
just to know the anatomy,
Mm-hmm.
the injury preventions, the nutritions, then of course the marathon training plans,
Hmm.
all that I did that course just to understand myself. Like I'm going to run, it is my body, how my body is reacting every time I run a different distances.
Hmm.
How to understand that I did that certification course,
Okay.
and
Okay.
that really helped me to move forward.
Right. Right. You have a better knowledge
Better
in.
knowledge, absolutely better knowledge. Then sometimes the coaches are not able to give individual attention at times because it's a larger group.
True.
But then if you have your knowledge properly, at least you can maintain yourself.
Yourself. Helping with people it comes on a secondary part, but helping yourself
Yes,
is the
yes.
prima facing
There is
part.
always a thumb rule. Listen to your body first.
Right. Right. True. So, how did you find, after getting that certification the course done, how did you manage your nutrition and recovery plan? You would want to know that.
Yes, that really helped me actually.
Okay.
Then I had to cut down lots on the extra carbs, then the fats, and of course that the nutrition part. But the training plan helped me how to run, how to improve your endurance.
Okay.
Okay, there is a process like if you go by there is a peak time, then there have to taper it down so you don't get overtrained over
Right.
the process.
Mm-hmm.
So if you follow the plan properly, I think it's easy. Plus, additionally, I started my extra activities like a gym,
Okay.
swimming.
Mm-hmm.
That really helped me to improve get the lean muscles
Right. In place.
in place.
Right. And how about the recovery plan? Because after your first marathon, you might have got few injuries. If because you were not running at a very
Mm-hmm.
speed, but still, how would you like to get into that recovery, which was very easy for you because you were already certified for that. You were aware about that recovery and the
Yes.
recovery which was given by your coach. When they both went hand in hand, how did that help you out?
Yeah, see, the injuries actually, let me tell you, the injury is a part of a process.
Right.
Like, basically, I would say every marathoner have definitely gone through some minor injuries here and there. So, there's a recovery is must. You cannot ignore those small injuries also because otherwise it will aggravate and you might land up into a serious problem. So, after completing my half marathon first, I continued my training.
Okay.
But then next year in the month of around June, July 2016, I had a knee issue.
Okay.
So when I got it checked, it was a chondromalacia syndrome
Okay.
with a knee injury, and that really was a setback because I was out of action for at least 5 to 6 months.
Okay.
But I did not give up. I said I have to recover first and have to start again.
Right, right. So, after getting a certification, did you anywhere, went into training? Because we know you have you had a running group. So, how did that training procedure went? So, if a participant is or a fresher is coming to, get trained by you, so how that entire journey goes through?
No, in this case, after my certification course, I continued with the same group, It was almost for 5 years I continued.
Okay.
So it was only around in 2020 I left the group. Then only I decided. It was much on a later stage. I did not want, just because I am a certified marathon coach doesn't mean that I start my group immediately.
Right, right.
I myself need to understand more, gain more knowledge about. So once I have a confidence, then only. Initially, I never thought that I'll be starting my group.
Right, right.
But then once you go through the process and all your bucket lists are ticked, like you did half marathon, you did full marathon, you did international marathon, everything. Now what?
Right.
Then that was a time it was much later stage that I realized that okay, I need to give it back to the society.
Right.
My tick mark is all over. What next? So that is one. It was much on a later stage.
Okay.
But I continued with the same group.
Okay. So when you started your own group?
It was in 2020, just pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
Before.
So how does the entire training procedure from your running group goes? We would like to know.
Yeah, generally I made it 2 batches.
Okay.
Once in the early morning,
Mm-hmm.
so that you know people can go to job and they can have their own business or whatever. They have the entire day with them.
Right.
So it's early morning, 1 hour to 1.5 hour max,
Mm-hmm.
and by 7:30 we are free.
Okay.
That was, and evening group generally I concentrate more on the housemakers. So
Right.
my evening group was most all they were all females
Okay.
because they have some time, they don't
In
work,
the
or
evening,
even
right.
if they're working they have time in enough. So
Mm-hmm.
that is how I split the group,
Okay.
and the process was very simple. I did not took too many students at a time
Okay.
because I wanted to focus on an individual. So I
Mm-hmm.
made a very small group of not more than 20-25 people, so I can
Okay.
concentrate on them.
Okay, okay. So how was your training, chart prepared, or how the analysis of an individual done? What nutrition and recovery support was given
Yes,
by you? So how was that?
the chart differs from person
Person
to
to
person
person, right?
because I know in my own group there was people who joined who were like BMI was above 28 and 30.
Okay,
Then some had an asthma issue, some had a high cholesterol level. But then my approach to start with them is to get the medical certificate first.
okay.
See the basic. If they are,
Vitals.
suppose, for example, if they are above some 350 or 400 cholesterol, definitely they cannot go into training immediately.
Hmm.
First of all, they need to have go through a medication and come down and bring it down to some level from where they can start. So
Right.
medical report is very important,
Hmm.
and the plan differs from person to person.
Okay.
So uh, if people are on the heavier side, they
Hmm.
are suppose they are overweight by around 10-15 kg, so
Hmm.
definitely you cannot expect to that person can run with the other
Right. With the same speed
the
of the
same
other
pace.
who
You
were
can
right.
They cannot run. So it's an individual plan. I have to frame them.
Right, right. So what challenges did you face when you were
Lots,
taking?
lots of challenges.
Okay, we would really want to know a few of them.
Lots of challenges. Absenteeism,
Okay,
one,
right.
because the very important thing is you have to be very consistent about your training. You have to be you come have to come regularly.
Mm-hmm.
If you break, then your chart gets disturbed, the
Right.
plans gets disturbed. Then again you have to give a plan, revised plan next week.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how, and initially when the joinees when they come to join, some of them already have some problems like knee problem. So
So they cannot.
they cannot. So have to start very basic, right from like start from walking to 20 minutes of walk, and I make them run 5 kilometers in 8 weeks.
Okay.
So basically the plan differs from some, as I rightly said, from so far to 5K.
Hmm.
To me, I can train a people in 8 weeks minimum,
Okay.
provided they come regularly
Hmm.
and they are able to do it. If they are not, definitely that is an extension
Right,
towards
right.
it.
Okay.
So it differs from individual to individual.
So when there was an absenteeism,
Hmm.
they were either lacking motivation, or they were not dedicated enough, or not very much focused enough to get that set
Generally,
goal.
that happens in the very first month of when they join.
Right, right.
Uh, they lack motivation first.
So how were you able
Yes.
to upkeep the motivation
I
of
used to
your
call
colleague?
them up.
Okay,
Why you are not come?
okay,
Sometimes, if required, I suppose if a younger person, then I speak to the parents also.
okay.
Please try and push him out of the bed, let him come. No, and I go and visit the family also.
Acha, okay.
Yeah, because I had enough time. I was retired by that time, so I had a time to follow up things, and I have a group meeting with those who are not regular
Right.
and talk to them individually and motivate them.
Okay.
And motivation comes in some other ways also, giving some attractive
Right.
gifts and all that.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
suppose if you're, I I have I used to use an app where I can I do their attendance and all that.
Okay.
So if whoever's attendance is higher on the first quarter will get a gift. That's
Acha,
one
okay.
kind
Right.
of a motivation.
Right. Right. Right.
And frequent weight, I used to actually tell them to put the weight on the scale,
Okay.
and I used to keep a diary of each and every
Okay.
individual. the progress.
Okay, okay.
That motivate. देखो आधा किलो कम हो गया, 1 किलो कम हो गया.
That helps in
That helps them to motivate.
Right, right. So when you were training, you were also, when you were training people, you were training yourself also in the running. So how did you manage to balance both of those things when, giving training
It's,
out to others?
no, yes, it is difficult because when you train others, you need to go with the flow,
Hmm.
with their flow. Okay, suppose a beginner is there. Suppose 5 people are beginning the training. I have to be with them to run with them at a slow
Right.
pace. Like say, you walk for 1 minute, run for 2 minutes, walk for 1 minute, and just for an example. So you have to be with them. At that time, I have to sacrifice myself, my own training.
Okay.
And I have seen over a period because your own performance goes down
When you're training
because
someone
training
else.
others.
Okay.
But then my training was only 3 days, 4 days in a week. The other days I used to use it for myself.
Okay, so that was bifurcated
Yeah.
accordingly. Okay, so when you started your journey, you were 59, you've mentioned. How did you mentally motivate yourself that you have to, because that's an age of retirement, to be very true to you, when it comes to our country. So starting from scratch, getting trained under someone, having those set goals, having that mindset and focus at that age. To age is just a number, of course,
Right.
that is to there, but still, that's an ease duration when you just want to relax, you just want to be there around with your family and friends. So how did you mentally, keep yourself so very focused enough that you were aiming for new marathon, upcoming marathons, be it Indian marathons or international marathons?
See, I had enough time with me because
Right.
I left my corporate life at the age of 56.
Okay.
That was a kind of an early retirement.
Hmm.
So that really helped me to focus more on the training part of it, my own improvement, and study, read a lot of books, and put it into practice, and talk to people. And the training, once I started my training the other people, then it's like a non-stoppable because whole day I'm thinking only about training, training and designing and the individual programs. And COVID time was a very excellent example. The entire COVID 2 years, I did an online training
Right.
for 1.5 hour every morning and
Okay.
evening.
Okay.
So that really helped.
Okay. Right. So you used to give
I
challenges?
I used to give challenges to others as well as I used to challenge myself sometimes.
Great. So what challenges did you give yourself in COVID? You would really want to know that.
Yes, we were not allowed to go out of the
Right.
society, not even stepping out of the building premises. So
True.
I stay in the 14th floor.
Mhm.
So I used to go up and down 5 times, 6 times, 7 times at sometimes.
Okay.
7 times I did the max, I know.
Okay.
Then I rearranged my entire furniture in the house in a way, such a way that I get enough space. And I used to run right up to 10 kilometers in my house.
Okay.
And I used to use the passage of the corridor, the lift area. So all the entire right from my house inside to the corridor, keep my door open. I used to run for 5
So
kilometers
you
and 10
basically did the
kilometers.
tower run during COVID
Yes,
duration.
my dining table was converted to table tennis.
Okay.
So, I really enjoyed, I'm telling you, though it was a very sad situation,
Yeah, it was.
but I enjoyed because I was busy, as I said, the morning, evening, the online programs were there,
Right.
and I really had a good time.
Great. So we've learned that you've trained people to, reach the summit of Everest Base Camp through running. So how is that? What is Everest Base Camp running? We would really want to know about that.
See, though I was not very expert in training such people,
Okay.
but then I took it as a challenge as one of my friend approached me that his age around 50.
Okay.
So he said, I want to do this. So there is a basic requirement of around in 38 minutes to 40 minutes, I should do 5 kilometers of run.
Right.
Okay, let's do it. This is a challenge for me also. At that time, actually, I had stopped my training.
Acha, okay.
So that is when this guy approached me. And along with them, there were one more couple was there who were training with me only for Satara. So it was like not a group training, but an individual personalized training. It was there.
Right.
So this EDC, I was was training under me for almost 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
It started in the month of June and ended somewhere in October when he went for the ABC. 10
Okay.
days, a 12 days program, I think. The two important things was there. One is your increase your lung capacity, oxygen intake. So help him to do lots of pranayam, some breathing exercises. And since I stay very close to Sanjay Gandhi Borivali National Park, so we have an incline there, which is like popularly known as Gandhi Tekri. So I made him run up and down, and initially, and the flat route also. And he was quite fit, and he managed to run in 33 minutes. He did 5 kilometers of run.
Okay.
So that was satisfying. Plus, I asked him to put in a weight of around 5 kg on his shoulder and do a Gandhi Tekri
Okay.
incline. He did couple, so it was tiring. He was fed up with me, but then somehow he managed. But ultimately, he managed to do it very nicely.
Okay. So how, I'm like, in what duration did he completed that?
No, it was a part of a group, no?
Acha,
So
okay.
12 days EDC, the entire package
Okay.
is there. So
Okay.
he was like among the first to return back.
Okay.
So even the group event organizer was very happy with him.
Superb. So how does the training of a full marathon and compared to the EBC training, how does that differ?
It differs a lot.
Okay, and
Both-
even if
both
it's
are
a trail run, if we consider trail runs
Trail
and
runs are
EBC.
EBC are more or less almost the same.
Okay.
EBC, of course, it's the oxygen level. Like if you go like in EBC, the oxygen level is around, you cut down to how much? So for 60% cut down, you are there only for 40%.
Right.
Okay, so that's a different game. Okay, of course, some people do take medication also along with that, like Bimox they take to for breathing problem and all that. Even for Leh Ladakh also, people
go on medication because of the air thinning.
They means they at least they keep it as an emergency, though not required actually.
Right.
Though not required. If you do a proper acclimatization, it's fine. But coming back to your question on the marathon, is a different game. Marathon most of the marathons are happening on the flat route generally. Slight bit of incline, but it's a different process.
So how do you suggest, when people are going on say like a higher altitude, how do you suggest them to acclimatize to the weather conditions, the training, the food? How do what do you suggest them?
The food is absolutely low carb, absolutely.
Okay,
because digestion is again a problem. You need to drink a lot of fluids.
Right.
Okay, that's one. Acclimatization initially for 1.5 days to 2 days are enough.
Okay.
Then you can step out.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's a low carb food. Nothing much on that.
Nothing much on
Nothing much. Of course, breathing is there, but the training is already taken place earlier,
covered.
so
Right,
that
right.
covers a lot.
Right. So when it comes to Anilji, how does your race routine looks like?
I generally train the entire like 365 days, like you can say, even if in a summer, whether it is summer or a monsoon. In fact, I'm waiting for monsoon to come, set in.
Okay.
So really love to run in rains.
Okay.
So if you're training the full year, I don't think that it's very difficult you put in a lot of pressure on the upcoming, any upcoming race. Okay. Because for example, if it is a half marathon, I'm anytime ready because I'm training. Of course, do require a planning of 10 days, 12 days in advance. Okay, half marathon is coming. But for full marathon, it's much more detail is required. You need to at least put in 3 to 4 months of planning for the full marathon.
Right. So after completing the full marathon, did you ever plan to, go for trail or ultra runs? Or is that in your bucket list?
It is there in the bucket list, as well as I think every time I put it in the bucket list, but it's not happening.
Okay.
For some reason.
Okay. So how do you mentally and physically train yourself when you're going for a particular event? How do you acclimatize to that weather? What food do you prefer when you have to go for, because marathons, especially in India, we have varied climatic conditions. We have flat roads in some, like for example, we have inclination in Satra Hill Half Marathon and other marathons. How do you manage yourself, plan accordingly for those events?
See, I'll tell you about my first full marathon, which was in 2019. and I straight away registered for the Hyderabad full marathon.
Okay.
So I was in the training group, my
Mm-hmm.
previous training group. So my coach gave me a target of around 6 hours to complete.
Okay.
You take it very easy because it's Hyderabad. One of the Hyderabad marathon is considered as one of the toughest city marathon
Okay.
because it's completely rolling. It's not a flat route.
Okay.
So I took it as a challenge as a very first. And the preparation actually happened some almost 4 to 5 months prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
I went to just to knowing that there's an incline there. I practiced in Jawahar, one area in Vikramgarh, closer
Okay.
to around some 90 kilometers from Borivali.
Okay.
So it's like hill. So I practiced there 36 kilometers.
Okay.
So that was really helped me. Then immediately I went to Hyderabad and I did it in my target was 6 hours, but I did it in 5 hours and 28 minutes. That was my
Super.
first half marathon. And of course, the food and everything you have to take care. You cannot eat outside too much,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, you need to load carbs just before the marathon and hydrate very well.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things comes into picture.
Right, right. So, Anilji, it happens that you have setbacks, be it because you had that knee injury,
Yes.
or you faced some injury in that run or a particular marathon, or even in training. Because if you overtrain,
Hmm.
you injure yourself. So, how do you deal with the setbacks or injuries or poor performances? Because you have few days in which you don't perform as how
Yeah,
you
yeah.
expected, not what your coach expected, but not what you personally expected your
Hmm.
outcome to be. So how do you deal with those setbacks, and how do you bounce back stronger?
The first thing is to never uh, like stop your things, whatever you're doing.
Mhm.
Okay, setbacks will definitely come in between. As I had, like I said, I was out of action for 5 6 months, but I never gave it up.
Right.
Okay, you need to put in your efforts. You can definitely bounce back, but you have a strong mentally. You should be very strong. Like never give up attitude.
Right.
Okay, so that plays a very important. And
Hmm.
again, if required, you may start again with the your basic. Okay, start with 5 kilometers again after the injuries. You can go slowly. You can go to 10 kilometers, and then you can progress. Then you see how you are recovering. Is
Hmm.
it your pain is there still there? If not there, you can move on. Nothing
Right,
stops
right.
you.
So it's just
And
mental
yeah, and the poor
dedication.
performance, there's nothing, to me, there's nothing like a poor performance.
Okay.
As long as there are no injuries after
Hmm.
the marathon, I would say.
Hmm.
Not during the training periods and all that. Like, there are, because if you finish very strong without any injuries, that is your good. You should enjoy the marathon. Whichever race you are doing, you should enjoy.
Right, right.
You never go into competition with others.
Hmm. But people do have the tendency of their own personal best, breaking those personal best records, because that is what comes up in the mind
Yeah, yeah.
when they are, even if they are participating in the same terrain of a marathon or a same marathon for the second time, just to break their personal best.
Yeah, a lot of younger generation do that. Not for definite doesn't applies to me because
Okay.
yeah, as you know, you see so many social medias and okay, this is my PB. I broken
Right.
my own PB and all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kind
that
of thing.
happens.
But yeah, interesting. That inspires others.
To break their personal best, I
Personal
suppose.
best, yeah.
Great, yes. So, when it comes to, so do you train yourself, or you are still there in any running group?
I'm there in the running group.
Okay,
It's a much larger group.
okay.
Basically, I've joined for strengthening and all that because in the group you can at least you can do it with a
Right, right.
group, and you are still surrounded by like-minded people.
Hmm, hmm,
And there is always you can do warm up together, you can do cool downs together, and go for run together. So
hmm.
it's really enjoyable
Okay, so you
to
manage your own training regime?
yes.
Okay, so how do you manage your own training regime to maintain your peak performance? What is, you consider yourself to be best at? How do you manage to, make your own training regime accordingly, and also at the same time to see that you are not, making yourself so prone to injuries when you
Mm.
are participating for that particular event?
Everything depends upon what is the upcoming race.
Okay.
Now, if there is no upcoming race, then I take it very
Lightly.
lightly and I enjoy.
Okay.
Generally, what I have done after in last after COVID and all that. Not that I had any issues during the COVID, but then it is better to do running without any stress. So
Okay.
nowadays I am more concentrating on a kind of a MAF training,
Okay.
which is like low heart rate. So
Okay.
basically I focus on a low HR, and I've kept my alerts on my smartwatch to ensure that I don't go beyond certain heart rate,
Right.
irrespective of the timings. I'm not bothered. I'm no more into competition and all that. I've
Okay.
done some competition in the past in masters. I've got medals, also gold medal and silver, but I'm no more in that competition. What is important to me is just go and enjoy, remain fit.
True, true. So, since you are a certified coach, I would like to really know about the nutrition part. Let's come to the nutrition. So, how nutrition is important? What are the micro and macro factors which needs to be taken into consideration, which according to you feel that people are missing out on that, which might lead to an injury or might even not, but that can also help them to elevate in that performance.
See, everything depends on the training.
Hmm.
Once you start training and if you're consistent, like suppose if I train for 1 year and more than 1 year, 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that any person, it will change their lifestyle.
Right.
When it comes to the changing of lifestyle, means like, okay, no weekend parties. Now you think only about weekend coming. Okay, what is my next run? How much mileage I'm going to do? I'm not going to any bar or going sitting with the friends and do time pass. Okay, so that itself cut down your lifestyle to certain extent. And when it comes to the nutrition part, you automatically get into that consciousness that I don't want to get into more into fat and extra carbs and all that. So first of all, you need to load carbs only when there are upcoming events, just
Okay.
1 day, 2 days prior.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you need to maintain the carbs in a such a way that whatever carbs you consume, suppose you're consuming 2000 carbs per day, you're burning at least 3000 to 2500 carbs. At least you are able to burn all that carbs. Fat, you should avoid all the deep fried and all Tetra Pak and all that. I don't drink. I no soft drinks. I don't know when I had last my soft drinks.
Okay.
I don't remember also now. And of course, there are cheat days are always there.
Right.
Okay, I myself I love vada pav for example, but then I don't get into habit of eating after every run.
Right.
So it does depend on what you eat. Eating is very important for me. Have a good breakfast post run because it requires a muscle recovery, and a healthy breakfast, mostly like a pova or idli or something like that. So that immediately, and protein is required for muscle recovery.
Right.
So if you are a non-veg, you can have eggs, or to me, I am a vegetarian, so I do take supplement of proteins, so to balance my
protein
protein
intake.
requirement.
Right.
And otherwise rice once a week,
Okay.
wheat maybe once or twice a week, otherwise mostly on millets, salads, soup.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So how do you manage to maintain your healthy lifestyle, and also how do you motivate yourself around to get into that healthy lifestyle or eating good or making yourself a better person?
My lifestyle has already changed, as I
Right.
told you, because earlier my friend used to call me on Friday, okay, what's planned for Saturday, where we are going. All that friends have disappeared.
Because you don't party anymore.
Because now they don't call me. Of course, they are in contact with me. We love each other, but then, like, they know this fellow is not going to come.
Right.
Okay, so definitely the lifestyle has changed, and I hardly go out on a restaurants, except for some family occasion or something like that. Otherwise, I kind of live a very minimalistic life now. Only जितना जरूरी है उतना ही करो बस. Otherwise, no extra things. And early to bed.
Okay.
By 10:30. 10:30 is the latest. I just go to bed. By default, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And I'm out. That's it. What else? I take recovery for recovery. I take a nap in the afternoon. At least 1 hour nap.
Yeah,
Today
that
I'll
is
miss,
required.
but that's fine.
Yeah, because of our podcast. But we'll compensate you for that. So
No,
not
that's okay. I'm just kidding.
right, right. Okay. So, as a coach, you've been a coach. So, how would you, consider strength training and cross training when it comes to running? And how does cross integrating of sports with running helps in elevating the performance, or does not play any role?
Yeah, I think the cross training is very much required.
Okay.
Like I go to gym at least three times a week
Okay.
minimum.
Okay.
Okay, and I also was encouraging my students to go for a gym or at
Okay.
least go for a swim or do cycling.
Okay.
Okay, so cross training is very much required. In fact, some of my students were coming to run as a cross training.
Okay.
They were like their core sports was like badminton or table tennis.
Okay.
But then for running helped them to
Escalate their
escalate
level. Okay.
better off in their own sports what they were
Hmm.
concentrating. So,
Right, right. So, what sports do you recommend to, when it comes to cross training?
nice. So gym is very much required
Okay,
because
because
that is
that
the
comes
one
with
way
strength
because you
training.
need to do upper body and lower body. So there is a lean mass development is there. It's not that you need to make a bodybuilder like thing, but at least it will keep you fit. And swimming and cycling is the best. I
Okay.
would suggest.
How do you consider yoga?
Yoga is also good.
Okay.
I'm not too much into yoga, but
Okay.
my cool down exercises and all that is part of a kind of a yoga only.
Okay.
So the stretches and all that.
Okay. So, mix of it makes a
Mix
good
of it, yeah.
combination.
Yeah,
Okay.
and of course I do. Apart from yoga, I do a foam rolling. The foam rolling is a very important, like a deep tissue massage kind of a thing to your body. So that really helped me. And I've done a lot of small courses on the foam rolling,
Okay.
then muscle activation, then knee injuries, those kind of. So that during the COVID time, all this really helped to
Right.
go online and learn about it.
Right.
more.
That was a very free
Though it
time.
was a part of my ACSM training, but then it's always a repetition is always refreshes you.
True that. So let's come to the recovery part. When an athlete has already performed and has been into that recovery mode, what exercises would you suggest which would help them in recovering at a faster pace and also getting much into the training regime? Because that's a break.
Yeah.
If that break is elongated, you're cut off from the sport.
True.
So how do you?
Depends upon how the injury level is.
Okay.
Okay. Suppose the injury out of 5 it is level is 4, then definitely the person requires to go to a physiotherapist or a ortho.
Okay.
Okay. So that you have to see how much of it. If it is a small pain like a knee, like something slight pain, you can you can check within a day or two, or like in couple of 1 week's training, how much that person is really having a problem. So accordingly, either you give some stretches to him, then I give them the videos. I send them individual videos to them to do this exercise, make a repetition of 3 times or whatever. See if you're feeling better. If not feeling better even after doing all the exercises, then definitely person needs to see an physio.
Okay. Okay. So Anilji, how do you keep yourself in a positive mindset throughout the year, and how do you manage to train yourself and set a new goal for a new day or a new season of running? How do you manage to do that?
Now that since I'm running since last 5 years, now it has become a passion.
Right.
If I don't run for 3 days in a week, I think I may fall sick.
Okay.
It is like that.
Okay.
So that's part of it. But the stress plays a very important role, because I've seen my younger students go out for a work, so they're stressed out. They are not able to perform very well in the training part also, because in their mind they have to go to the office, work, and all that kind of thing. And for me, I don't have a stress now. Since now that I'm retired, I don't have much. Okay, children are married, have a grandchildren at home, so I play around. So full day I have a lot of time to enjoy.
Right.
So why to keep a stress? The stress will be always there in every family, but then it is up to person. It's up to me how I take it and how to adjust myself.
Right. Right.
So keep smiling every time.
Okay.
Whatever happens.
That's the best medicine.
Best medicine.
Right. So during your entire 5 years of journey, you know, you have of course sacrificed on many things when it comes to, seeing yourself at this stage of your life. Apart from you, your family and your friends also have sacrificed things
Yeah.
which they were used to being doing with you, having that free time.
Hmm.
How do you think that they have helped you in your entire journey?
There was a lot of support from my family
Right.
initially. Initially, of course, as I said earlier, also they were a bit worried, like why am I into running in spite of what heart issue and all that. But when they saw my progress, how on a day-to-day basis, on a monthly basis, they were happy now. Now, in fact, they are also following. Like as my wife was also into training, she followed me. Now
Right.
she's also doing a half marathon. Of
Okay.
course, now off late after COVID, she is not. But at least she goes for a walk on a daily basis. She goes for a 1 hour walk. The family support is very much required. In fact, my son, my daughter-in-law, we stay together,
Okay.
so they are all very helpful. Like morning, they know every time 5:30 I'm out of the house and I will not come back by 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock back just for my morning breakfast. So they gave my space is there for me.
Right.
I'm very happy and they don't disturb me. In fact, they support me a lot.
Right, and that's very important because
Yes.
you have to be in your
Yes.
zone when you're,
There's
training yourself.
yeah, there's something called me time, no? So the
Right.
me time is I don't want anybody to disturb my me time. It's my time.
True, true, true. Okay, so how do you manage to stay involved in the running community after closing your group? How do you still manage to be there in the community? And what, as you said, you want to give it back to your society. So, what are your future aspirations when it comes to uh, the running community?
I, I af- I stopped my own group basically because I wanted my more time for myself,
Right,
because I wanted to travel across
right.
and see some places which I could not. So now it's the time, and it's not always me. Sometimes you have to also look after your family. Okay,
True.
so you have to go along with them,
Right.
travel up and travel abroad, for example. Okay, so that was lacking when I was doing my own training because the commitment levels are very high. Right. And I joined a group and just to be with the larger group. I think earlier also I said the same thing. I'm repeating.
That's all right.
So yeah, so to be with everyone and like-minded people, so you keep moving with them. And still now, today also, I get a lot of people keep asking me for various things like, okay, this is the issue, what should I do? They do come to me for advice. And if possible, to my knowledge, whatever knowledge I have, of course, I give it back.
Right. Because they know that you are in this
Yes.
since a long time and you will be a better person rather than, just going to anyone who would not understand what he or she might be going through.
And being an aged, like also maybe in my group also, I am maybe the eldest person.
Okay.
Again, so they look as a kind of a person like, okay, you can talk to them freely,
Right, right. So people in your age group might be thinking that why is he doing or she doing, I mean, a running activity, because that is not very common factor which, people do at this age. I'm like, there are many, but when it comes to a community or the place where we are staying or the group where we are going, it's not easily, that you don't get same people who are doing into the same thing. You might get an younger version of
Yeah.
you who are still doing that training. So how do you take that as?
No, I think there are plenty of people in my age category.
Right.
In fact, when I see, I do participate in some race, I see in my age category, suppose out of 10 people running, I'm ranked 7th. So you can imagine like some others who are my age category are running so fast at a much pacer.
Right.
So that is one. But then, yes, you rightly said, there are so many others who don't do much. And I've got so many calls from a similar age category people, not known to me. They come via some sources, and they have also undergone through some similar issues like me. They have gone through angioplasty or open surgery and all that. So they want to talk to me.
Right.
How you manage? And believe me,
That's an inspiration.
believe me, there are so many people who I have talked to them, and they are also going on a morning walk and every day.
So that's changing lives.
That is changing lives, and I believe in motivating people and changing life of others.
Right. So you are an inspiration for people who've already gone through what
Maybe
it's
if
been
they,
5 years for
yeah,
you
if
and
they
you've
inspired,
evolved.
yeah, if it is that, then I'm happy.
True, true. So, Anilji, you've participated not only in Indian marathons but also marathons abroad. So, when it comes to participating in events which are not in your home country, what changes your training requires, and also the nutrition part?
I did two marathons in Toronto.
Okay.
Uh, I landed in the month of May 1st in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
and I registered myself straight from Mumbai only.
Okay.
And in 5 days, there was a race,
Okay.
and the weather condition was very different.
Right.
From it was in the month of May. Here from 37 degree, I landed up in 10 degree.
Right.
So I had to run that marathon. Of
And
course,
also the day night.
no, it was day.
No, but
That
the
time,
time
yeah.
difference is.
No, I had a 1 week with me
Acha,
there,
okay,
so I
to.
could recover this thing time. And it's a different. In fact, the cooler the weather, it supports you very well. I
Right.
completed my first half marathon Toronto in 2 hours and 24 minutes
Oh, because of the climatic conditions.
because of the climatic condition and a different environment, different people,
Hmm.
and nicely organized. The routes are free. Everything is on your own, as if you are ruling the road. Okay, so rather like no traffic is there, nothing is there. Very well managed.
Hmm.
And the other one which I did was a night run.
Okay.
It was on a very big park. It was a 5K loop.
Okay.
I did only 10 kilometers there. It was for 10 kilometers only.
Okay.
But then entire park, the lights were switched off.
Okay.
We were all given headlights
Okay.
and the headgear.
Right. Understood.
And all different kinds of gadgets, like those, the fluorescent
The neon and the
neon
fluorescent
sign
type.
to
Right.
wear the bangles on the necklace and everything. It was really fun.
Okay.
So that was in almost like a 7 degree, and I was shivering when I landed. It's a different game. It's just for the interest as
Yeah, right,
otherwise,
right.
if you stay longer, then you can plan much better, and in fact, you can improve your timings also.
Right. Also, the climate plays an important
Yes,
role
yes.
apart from the
Yes,
terrain.
I'll tell you, this TMM for this year,
Mm-hmm.
2023, the weather was very good this
Oh,
year.
okay.
Okay, it was around 14 degree, 13 to 14 degree,
Mm-hmm.
and that really helped me. I'll tell you, the previous pre-COVID run was I completed in 5 hours and 37 minutes,
Okay.
and that was in 2020. The 23 this year, I had same marathon with the good weather condition. I completed in 5 hours and 10 minutes, a 30 minutes of improvement. That's a
Improvement.
big thing for me.
Right. So, Anilji, what are your future aspirations in running?
No, keep running. Whatever I'm doing, I'm happy with that right now.
Okay.
Of course, I do plan to do an EBC, but
Okay.
then everything comes only with my approval from my family as well as from my cardiologist.
Right. That needs to be in synchronization when
Absolutely.
it comes
In
to.
fact, I canceled my Ladakh marathon this year.
Okay.
I postponed it to the next year
Okay, right.
because of the same reason.
So, if you are planning for EBC, you are planning to train yourself or you're planning to get trained under someone?
No, I'll train myself.
Okay.
I
Don't you
think
think that you might at times be lenient when it comes to training yourself? What is your take on that?
no, nothing like that. There's a lot of learning from others. Those who have already been through, those who have already gone to ABC, for example, I can talk to them and
Right.
get motivation from them.
Mm-hmm.
And rest is all your efforts.
Okay. So the last question before we end the podcast: what advice you would like to give to individuals who are concerned about starting or continuing the journey as they get older?
I think, as you rightly earlier mentioned, age is just a number. Okay, and it's never late to start anything. Never
Okay.
late. To give an example, I just said now.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, 2 years back, TMM I completed in 5 and 37 minutes. This year I completed in 5 or 10 minutes.
Right.
So I'm aging, but I'm improving.
Improving, right.
That itself is an example. It's never late. And of course, very important factor is if they have some kind of a health issue, they should always consult a doctor first before
Right.
starting at their higher age. And medical this thing requirement is must to check up.
Right. And what advice would you like to give to people who have gone through the same medical conditions, wants to get into sport, but still afraid of, that might not, come back as a negative impact on them?
It depends upon what level of surgery or injuries they have gone through. And of course, if doctors says to go ahead, I think it is possible to start running.
Okay.
Though my doctor actually said earlier no, but then
still you
after
went
seeing my
in.
improvement, he wanted to do an angiography again to me.
Okay.
So I told him why. No, I want to see how you improved and what benefited you. So I told him straight away, don't touch me again now. In fact, he wanted to take my, he's already taken my case to a German conference for this. He wanted, as an example, he wanted that, okay, he has done such surgery and after this surgery, that person is improved. That's
okay. That's a nice example in front of people who might, want to get into it, but still are afraid.
People are still afraid, actually. People are still afraid. But then earlier I said, because there are a couple of people whom I spoke to who have undergone the same thing. Though they are not running, but they're actually, I see them every day in the area they are walking on a regular basis and they're feeling much better.
So they should start with small steps. Right. Yeah. Rather than sitting home, just imagining what is going to happen to them. This is happening. I'm like, you're having some problem at some point of time. Because as age grows, we all know some or the other thing might anytime pop up.
Yeah.
So it's better to, keep on.
Better to put in efforts instead of taking a bed and putting others into a problem in your family members and you suffer on your. It's better to make an effort and do something better.
And also enjoy at the same time.
And enjoy at the same time.
True. So that was wonderful conversation with you, Anilji. We loved speaking with you and getting your experience.
Thank you.
Many thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. Till then, stay fit, stay strong and race above.